everybody. I'm going to make an Excel video here for y'all, and I'm doing it here in the den at my house. This is my second attempt on an Excel for you, but I've hopefully got some things worked out where you can see things. But anyway, remember always of what I'm talking about. All of the instructions are there in our text in my lectures out on Moodle. Remember chapter 5 for Excel, and we'll do Access in a little bit. So enjoy and be careful, and we'll see you soon. And it helps that I don't bump the button, the button on the on-off on the TV. So, we're back there. So, our spreadsheet, remember, we're going to go through and we're going to create a sample budget. And I'm going to do the numbers like we have there on your assignment. And remember, I also have posted the results, things like that for you on my door or otherwise. So, remember, when we start off in Excel, we go and we start with a blank spreadsheet. I'm going to see if I can get rid of some of that glare. Where you have your rows and columns. So in class, we started off with going through, first of all, File, New, Blank Workbook. And so remember, the first thing I do is I go through and I increase my widths here a little bit for especially column A, and then B. Increase all of the other ones so that you're going to hold values till about 11 or 12 pixels or so wide. Okay, so we have that. So then remember, I go through and I start putting some of my headings and otherwise. So this is proposed fall 2020 budget. And then remember, we were going to come down and we put here pay rate, hours per day. We came on down a couple of lines, and well, we're going to come in here and we're going to say income. So I'm going to go right here. I'm going to move these down here a little bit. Boom. Boom. And let's say we're going to clean all of these up, make them look nice a little later. So we come over here, and in column C is September, October, November, December, and here in G is our total. So remember, if you don't increase your width a little bit, then you get pound signs rather than values. So we come on down and we have our number of days we worked. And let's see, we have 20, 20, 23, and 22. And so then we have our gross salary. Let's say I go through first and I get some initial values out here. And then we got a total income. And then we got expenses, so we'll come on down for that. And we have school, rent, food, car, other, or actually miscellaneous. So I listed on your assignment sheet. So then we have total expenses, and then we have our net, which remember will be our income minus our expenses, and then we have that savings value, which remember we made $400 over the summer. So once I've got in the spreadsheet some initial values, things like that, then I'm ready to start putting in my formulas. So remember, our gross salary is equal to, up here, our pay rate, which is initially $6 an hour, and we're working 6.5 hours a day. So we're going to start off with our formula, which begins with an equal sign. You can see up there on the top, equals. And so remember, if I say $B, $5, times, which is an asterisk, so I take pay rate times hours per day, which is at $B, $6, times our days worked, which is there in C9, and I hit that and we're good. So then if I want to copy that over, all I have to do is press F8 and use my right cursor to move over, and I come over to the fill command right there and choose fill right. And there it is. So remember, our deductions are 15% of our gross pay. So, and that's there on your assignment sheet on the bottom of the first line up, first paragraph, I should say. So we're going to say equals. And our gross salary, and remember we're out here in C11. So we're going to say equals C10 times 0.15. And if I accidentally hit the wrong thing, it acts kind of weird there. So our salary is that, our deductions are that. I can do an F8. I can just move over, and I can do a fill right. And notice it's moved C10 to D10 to E10 to F10. So you have that. And then remember, our net salary is our total income, or our gross salary minus deduction. So we're going to say equals C10 minus C11. And we hit enter. And then we can copy that over. Just hit F8 and move over. Fill right. And then remember, our family gives us what? $300 in September, 100, and 100 in December. And we make $50 in September, 25, 50, and 20 there. And we're going to come back and do totals and all in a minute. So then if we look at school, we have to spend 500, 300, 350, 300. And our rent is each month is 400 plus a little bit extra times 400 plus 425 plus 425, no, excuse me, 450. And our food is 200 in September, 210 in October, 225 to 250 there. And our car is 300, 375, 400, and 250 because we don't drive much there. And miscellaneous is 100 to 150. And finally 100 in December. So once we've got our initial numbers and we want to total things up. So if I want to total up here going across, I say equals sum parentheses, and I want to total C10, whoops, C9 colon F9. So it totals those up, and then I could do an F8, and I could come down, and instead of filling right, I could go over here to fill down, and it's total those up, 33. Likewise, if I want to total my income, well, I can also come in right here, and I can come down, and I can go across, and I can click up here on auto sum, and it'll sum it for me. And we wind up with a problem there, because if I don't want to sum everything, I just want to sum my net family and other. So I want to sum C12 through C14, close parentheses. And there we wind up with 1013, so then I do an F8, and I can just copy, fill right. So remember, when you're figuring your monthly sum, make sure all you sum up is net salary, family, and other. You don't sum everything for income like you do in expenses. So then I can come down here and I can do an F8. I can come across here and I can actually auto sum two different ways. And there we come up with our 5785 for our total there. So our net each month, remember, is our total income minus our total expenses. So we're going to say equals C16 minus C20. And so we're 487 in the hole for the first month, September. We can just move over, fill right, and we're $222 in the hole, so that doesn't look good. And then our savings, remember, each month is our savings for that previous month plus our savings for the current month. So right here, I'm going to add the 400 to the negative 487, so I'll wind up with negative savings for September of $87. And then I'll add the minus 87 to the minus 597, and you just leapfrog across. And then when you finish, then you just transfer your value from, in this case, I think it's F30. I think on yours it might be 29 over to G29 or G30, depending on how you line up your spacing and all. So my formula here is going to be equal F30 plus my value in C28. Oops, not F, I'm sorry. B. B30. I was thinking where I wanted to be. So B30 plus C28 is my savings. Then I can just do an F8 and I can move across and I can fill right. And there it has the minus 1822, which is correct. So right here for my total, remember you don't total your savings row. You just transfer that final value over from F30 to G30. So I'm just going to say equals F30. And remember and use your formula. So here we have our spreadsheet. Well, we can certainly come up and we can clean it up a little bit. So I'm going to highlight C, D, and E up there at column 1. And I can merge and center. And I can increase my font size, maybe up to about a 14, and maybe I can make it a bold one. And likewise, income, I'm going to do just the center of it. So I choose center. And I can do the same here for my months. I can choose an F8. I can just move over. And I can choose that right there. And likewise for expenses, I can center that up. And those are there. Now folks, remember, it doesn't matter how you express negative numbers. Whether they're a minus sign, whether they're in parentheses, whether they're in red. As we talked about, you hear about companies being in the red or companies being in the black. Well, that's because you're trying to look at whether they made money or lost money. They're in the red. And we're going to look at that in just a minute. So we're going to come in here and we're going to do an F8. And we're going to format things over, and I'll come back and pick up the 400 in a minute. So I'm going to go up here to my format for numbers, and I'm going to choose more number formats. And I'm going to choose currency. And so notice if I choose currency, then notice it says I'll have 2 decimal places, and negative numbers can be with a minus, and red, parenthesis, whatever. I'm just going to stick with minus. And so notice that's formatted everything nicely. Likewise, I'm going to do my pay rate up here as a currency. And I'm going to come back and hit my savings and save that as a currency. Format that way. So here's our first run. So then you would just save this, go out, save as, you know, PERBUDG type of deal. And take it there. In my case, I'm going to save it as something else because I'm making this to go up on YouTube. Version 2. So remember, the beauty of the spreadsheet is once you get this initial one done, then all you have to do is for the second run, you just change your pay rate to $7 and hit enter, and notice instead of being $1,800 in the hole, we're $1,300 in the hole. So then you print this out or save it, depending on where we are and what's going on. Then for our third run, you're at $8 and you're working 7 hours a day. So remember, by just changing those 2 values, we are now only $594. So that's part of the beauty of the spreadsheet, is being able to just change 1 value or 2 values, and everything else that depends on it works there. And then our final run, we're at $10 and we're working 8 hours a day, and so we make $1,140 total. So that's the beauty of the spreadsheet. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to make a couple of graphs. So we can go back to our initial values of $6 and 6.5 for our hours worked. And remember, the first graph you're going to make is of a pie chart with your net, family, and other. So I highlight total column, net, family, and other. And then I go up here to insert. I'm sorry. Insert charts. And you see there a pie chart. And I choose a simple 2D pie. And notice we have it right there, and I can just move it around. I can change the height of it, size of it, whatever. And then since I want it in percentages, I just go up here to a sample and you notice percentages. Now folks, your percentages might be different depending upon which graph or what value, what you're using. So obviously here where we're not making a lot of salary, our salary is going to be less than the others. Well, I know 1, 2, 3, because I've done this for years, are my salary, family, and others, but I can come up here and I can choose select data, horizontal category labels, and if I'm real good with my mouse, I can choose net, family, and other. And notice it's putting here sheet 1, exclamation mark, $A, remember a dollar sign in a formula means it's a fixed location, $A12, colon, $A14, and notice it picked up here on my legend on the other side, net, family, and other. So just notice here real quick, if I go here to the final run, notice if it's $10 and the 8, hours a day, then notice our salary percentage has gone up because we're working more, because that's a more prevalent type of deal. So just be aware that depending on where you graph and all that, so I'm going back to my 6 and my 6.5. So likewise, if I want to do my expenses, I come down here. I don't know why it's doing that. So I can choose school, rent, car, miscellaneous. I go back up here to insert, pie chart, 2D pie. And I'll move it around a little bit. And I'll shrink it down a little bit. And I'm going to choose my percentage. And let's see here. I won't come in here to the chart title, so I can highlight it and I can get, oops. Don't want to do that. Go back. Chart title right here. Backspace. So that's good. So then if I want to select my data, I go up to select data, horizontal category labels, and I choose over here school, rent, car, and other, miscellaneous. And it puts those there for me, and I choose OK. And likewise, I'm going to do here, I was going to put a title there, so I can just backspace, oops. There. there on chart title, delete, backspace. And so that's how you do the pie charts for the second part of or another part of the assignment. Likewise, if I wanted to do a bar chart, remember, you can maybe get some extra credit for extra charts, but everything else has to work. So I can highlight total income right there, and then I could come up here to insert bar chart up there at the very top, 2D, and notice we have a lovely little chart here, which we could take along and we could move it if we wanted to. Down, so we have that. I could come here to chart title, and I could backspace over. Monthly income. Type of deal. And likewise, we could come up and we could choose select data to get rid of 1, 2, 3, 4. We could choose edit, and we could go all the way up again. Highlight September, October, November, and December. Choose OK. Choose OK. And it picked those up for us. Now, we also talked about in class, remember, if you want always to go to a 0, 0 point down here. So you can come over here, if it's not starting at 0, you can choose it. You can choose Format Axis right there, and then it should pop up for you, and where you can set your minimum value here at 0, your max. Mine is set up to do that automatically, but sometimes you might need to force it. So you just right click on it, choose Format Axis, and you can do that. So that's how you basically do your spreadsheet. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to save as, because it should work either way on embedding it or linking it into your letter, because sometimes it used to give a problem, so I'm just going to save that and file and close. So remember, our other thing that we're going to do, our last item, is because we are so desperate. I mean, we're $1,140 in the hole. So we can come in here and we can choose that, Word, blank document, and so we're going to increase our font size a little bit. Oh, we'll go like a 12, make it easy on you. And so we're going to come in here and we're going to say, August. And so we're going to write, Dear Grandma, we're going to write, Dear Grandma Moses. It was so nice being home with all of the family over the summer. Made a spreadsheet of my expenses. Now let's say for fall budget. And things don't look good. money, and I could highlight please send money. I could change my color to red. I could center it. I could increase my font size, whatever. And then I'm going to come down here, and now I'm ready to insert my spreadsheet into my letter. And remember, there are two ways to do it. One way is to link it, and the other way is to embed it. And we're going to talk about here in a minute the differences. But you go out here to insert, object, the little thing there, right there, object, from file, which it'll pop up next, from file, and then you find your spreadsheet. So I go out here to 115, I go out here to class examples, I go out here to YouTube version 2 and choose OK. Now I'm not going to click right here on link the file initially. I'm going to come back to that in a couple of minutes. So I just choose OK, and it inserted our spreadsheet in. And then we could simply take our spreadsheet, we could reduce our size just a little bit, things like that. We can take it, we can move it up. While it thinks here for a second. And then we could say love, boom. So that's how to embed a spreadsheet into a letter. So we could save this file, save as, and I could say this PC, enter a file name, and I want to put it out here under class examples, and I could give it a file name. Into letter B. And so we have that there. So I could do file, close, and now remember the difference between a linked and an embedded is we can do file, new, blank document, and I'm just going to say YouTube link example. So we write our letter as before. We go out here to insert, object, from file, browse, YouTube version 2, choose OK, and there we have that. Should have had my YouTube example down below, but that's okay. insert, object, from file, browse, and we choose version 2. It doesn't matter which one you use, but in this case, I'm going to hit link to file. So if we update the spreadsheet, as you'll see in a minute, so then we can save that, file, save as, class examples, to link, enter. So then I'm going to come out of file and close, and I'm going to minimize Word, and I'm going to go back into Excel. I'm going to pull up my file, YouTube version 2, but let's say that instead we're making let's just say $9 an hour. So $9 an hour, it moves us up to $413. I don't know why that's doing that for me. So notice here we're only $413 in the hole, not the $1,100, not the $1,800. So I can do file, save, and then I can close. And then if I go back into Word and I pull up file, my embedded one, notice it's still the 1822. But if I go out here and close that one and pull up file, link, then it's going to eventually come up here with a message saying the underlying spreadsheet has been changed, or file, do you want to update? We're going to choose yes, and it'll pop up. Document contains links. You want to do yes. And so notice instead of the $1,800, it's going to pop up here in a minute with the $8 and the negative 400 and something. There it is. So notice the 413 down there for our savings. So that is everything for the spreadsheet. Remember, the difference between linking and embedding is in both cases the spreadsheet is put into your letter. It's just whether it's static or it changes, and that is our demo out here on YouTube for the Excel spreadsheet. So hopefully this will help you with some ideas and how it works and all that. And here I've been talking for almost 40 minutes. So